I was listening to my favorite book of all time, which is Conversations with God, book 2. And in chapter 2, it just has just the best section that always, whenever I hear it, and I've listened to it so many times because I think that it's so profound. So I thought that I would read it to you. The inability to experience the suffering of another as one's own is what allows such suffering to continue. Separation breeds indifference, false superiority. Unity produces compassion, genuine equality. The events that occur on your planet, which have occurred regularly for 3,000 years, are a reflection of the collective consciousness of your group. That level of consciousness could best be described as primitive. The Hitler experience was made possible as a result of group consciousness. Many people wanted to say that Hitler manipulated a group, in this case his countrymen, through the cunning and the mastery of his rhetoric, but this conveniently lays all the blame at Hitler's feet, which is exactly where the mass of people want it. But Hitler can do nothing without cooperation, support, and willing submission of millions of people. The subgroup that called itself Germans must assume an enormous burden of responsibility for the Holocaust, as must to some degree the larger group called humans, which, if it did nothing else, allowed itself to remain indifferent and apathetic to the suffering in Germany until it reached so massive a scale that even the most cold-hearted isolationists could no longer ignore it. It was collective consciousness which provided fertile soil for the group of the Nazi movement. Hitler seized the moment, but he did not create it. It's important to learn the lesson here. A group consciousness which speaks constantly of separation and superiority produces a loss of compassion on massive scale. And loss of compassion is inevitably followed by loss of conscience. A collective concept rooted in strict nationalism ignores the plights of others, yet makes everyone responsible for yours, thus justifying retaliation, rectification, and war. Auschwitz was the Nazi solution to an attempt to rectify the Jewish problem. The horror of the Hitler experience was not that he perpetrated it on the human race, but that the human race allowed him to. The astonishment was not only that a Hitler came along, but also that so many others went along. The shame is not only that Hitler killed millions of Jews, but also that millions of Jews had to be killed before Hitler was stopped. The purpose of the Hitler experience was to show humanity to itself. If that's not profound, I don't know what is.